Today, that's not going to be the case. No lakeside cooling going on. We'll have enough of a southwest wind to drive those 50s right up against the shore. Maybe give the dog a little extra walk later today. Give yourself a little extra time outside. You got to soak days like this up this time of year. It's going to be about 35 at 9, warming up already. Mid to upper 40s at noon. And then we'll be in the low 50s this afternoon. Just abundant sunshine, a spectacular day, and it is already off to a great start. Though it's cold, 26 at O'Hare. We have a south wind at 6, so the wind chill is 19. You still need that winter coat for the next few hours, but you can put that thing away and maybe go with a lighter jacket for the afternoon hours. 7 o'clock, which means Anthony Ponce is on traffic detail.
Yes, here we're creeping up into the yellow range on some of our area expressways as we take a look at our travel times this morning. On the Kennedy, you were at 36 minutes inbound from O'Hare to downtown. On the Eisenhower, same drive time, 36 minutes inbound from Route 390 to downtown. On the Stevenson, you're at 32 minutes inbound from I-355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Things actually creeping up on the Dan Ryan. There was an accident that happened just after 5 a.m. Right on the local lanes, 3 lanes were blocked, so the travel time is increasing there. It's 31 minutes, your inbound drive time on the Dan Ryan from 95th to downtown. And we are following breaking news this morning. Chicago police are investigating a stabbing on the CTA Green Line. This happened at 10:45 last night on a train car as we take a look at the scene from overnight at the 47th Street stop. That's right near Calumet Avenue. Police say the victim, a 44-year-old man, was hit in the face by a sharp object. He was taken to a hospital and is listed in fair condition as police search for the suspect.
And a violent robbery that happened during broad daylight is caught on camera.
The suspect's still on the loose this morning as we check in with Say Kwan, who is live this morning in the city's Fulton Market District with what we know so far. Say?
Hey, good morning to you guys. Yeah, we are here in Fulton Market right now, just along Peoria and Lake, but this is the sidewalk where a man was pinned at gunpoint and beat up by 2 male suspects before those suspects stole his items and took off. I want you to take a look at this video. It may be a little hard to watch here. As you mentioned, this happened during broad daylight yesterday, just a little bit before sunset at around 4:30. According to police, at least one of the suspects pulled out a gun and demanded items from the victim, while the other suspect beat him. Once the suspects got the victim's item in their hands, they took off in the Range Rover seen in this video. I did check this morning, and actually the numbers of violent crimes reported, specifically robberies, are down in Chicago. The city actually has this online dashboard that shows you something called violence and victimization trends. So here's what I found. In 2020, when crime rates were historically high, you can see robbery victimizations across Chicagoland were up. And when you compare that to just last year, those numbers have dropped by a lot, especially towards the tail end of 2025. Back here in Fulton Market, we know an investigation is underway. That is according to Chicago police. We've also reached out to the Fulton Market Association for any sort of information regarding what happened here yesterday. We still have not heard back. Back to you guys.
Say thank you so much. Anxious to hear what those business owners are saying to get their perspective on crime in that particular area. Well, there are new accusations against DCFS after the death of an 8-year-old boy in Round Lake Beach.
Brian is in studio with the very latest. Brian?
The Cook County Public Guardian is accusing DCFS of not being transparent following the death of 8-year-old Markel Pierce. DCFS has said that the family was not receiving services and that state law and confidentiality rules prevent them from releasing further details during the ongoing investigation. But the Public Guardian says that there is no confidentiality to protect in this case because the child is already dead.
DCFS's statement was very slippery, frankly. It said that the family was not receiving services in the present tense. Well, was it ever receiving services in the past? We don't know. DCFS won't respond. In terms of confidentiality, that is just not true. DCFS has explicit authority under the law to release information when a child that DCFS was involved with has died. DCFS is not being transparent. Why? I can't tell you because we don't have the information.
DCFS sent us a statement saying in part, we are unable to provide further comment about the specifics of this case at this time. DCFS will provide additional information in consultation with the Lake County State's Attorney as soon as we're able to do so in a way that does not interfere with the investigation. Markel Pierce's mother and her boyfriend are both charged with his death. Anthony?
Okay, thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. 2 employees in Evanston Skokie School District 65 have been charged with child sex crimes. Carlos Mendez and Maribel Flores Hernandez were arrested last week. Mendez is accused of abusing a minor who is a family member of Flores Hernandez for 2 years. They are both accused of sexually abusing a different minor relative in Miami. Mendez is the assistant principal at Washington Elementary, and Flores Hernandez is a parapro at Joseph E. Hill Early Childhood Center. The allegations do not involve any students in District 65. They have both been placed on leaves of absence.
The Village of Dalton is suing Fifth Third Bank, claiming former Mayor Tiffany Henyard stole $1.9 million in public funds. The lawsuit says the bank cashed more than 250 checks to village vendors. They were signed by Henyard, but not signed by the village clerk, which is required by village ordinance. This allegedly happened between April of 2022 and May of 2023. Henyard served until May of 2025, until she lost the election. Current Mayor Jason House. She faced multiple investigations into alleged mismanagement of village funds.
The search for Nancy Guthrie continues in Arizona, and there is new information coming out each day.
Caroline Elliott live once again in Tucson for us. Caroline, the FBI is releasing more details about the person seen on that doorbell surveillance video.
Yeah, Natalie, for the first time in this investigation, the FBI is now giving us a new description of the suspect in that surveillance video we saw earlier this week. Now, the FBI is describing this suspect as a man. They say he's somewhere between 5'9" and 5'10" with an average-looking build. And again, the FBI really hoping that the public can take a closer look at this video now with this new information and try to maybe point someone out that they might know. Maybe it's a neighbor, maybe it's a family member or a friend, but the FBI really counting on the public right now to help solve this case. We know the agency also upped that reward to $100,000 just yesterday, really hoping the public can now help out.
For the op tempo, and you see and you can tell things in the pace of it.
All right, Caroline, local investigators are still asking neighbors for any clues here. What sort of information are they looking for this morning?
Kidnapping cases are federal purview.
Yeah, Anthony, we're now hearing from the Pima County Sheriff's Department that detectives are asking neighbors in the area to take a closer look at their own doorbell cameras to see if they see anything sketchy from the time of January 1st and February 2nd. So a big time frame that investigators are looking at right now, but we know that investigators are now going through some 30,000 tips when you take the tips that feds have been getting and the tips that the local sheriff has been getting. When you combine those, we're seeing again almost 30,000 tips since the beginning of this search. So again, investigators are looking at a big time frame right now, and again, really counting on the public to help out in this case.
Caroline Elliott live from Tucson for us. Caroline, thank you.
We're diluting the samples.
All right, 7:08 back here locally in Chicago. The U.S. government could be headed for yet another partial shutdown. Funding for the Department of Homeland Security will run out by midnight tonight if Republicans and Democrats can't agree on how to finance it. Republicans want a short-term funding extension. However, Democrats are demanding some serious changes to immigration enforcement policy, including a ban on face masks for ICE agents. Yesterday, the Senate failed an attempt to advance a DHS funding bill.
We want to turn now to the forecast, and it is a great one that we have set up for you today as we take another look at the beautiful sunrise. I enjoy working here. I enjoy working with you guys, but I also enjoy getting to see the live sunrise each day, because what a treat that is.
Especially when you're able to see it and when clouds aren't interfering with
Right,
that view.
and from the indoors as opposed to the outdoors.
It is still cold out there right now, but boy, we have a big warm up on the way. More than 20 degrees on the way in terms of temperature bump. Let's take a look at the radar. There is so very little going on for much of the country. Hardly any advisories, watches, warnings. In fact, I'll turn them on here, and maybe here in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains of northern New Mexico, some winter weather there. But this is all tied to a storm system that all week long I've been saying it's going to miss us to the south. There's an area of low pressure there. It's going to move like this. And that means there will be some rain maybe getting into central and southern Illinois, but nothing in Chicagoland. We have, in fact, no precipitation until maybe Tuesday night. And then it's not going to be snow. It's going to be rain. Out the door, though, right now, it's still cold. We got a lot of 20s here. 27 at Midway and the Lakefront, 22 at Joliet, Woodstock 23. In Northwest Indiana, look at Valparaiso. Dropped to 19. Thank goodness it's not very windy, or we'd be dealing with some pretty painful wind chills. Despite this, look where temperatures are headed today. And unlike yesterday, when we had noticeable cooling along the lakefront, not today. Enough southwest wind to drive those 50s all the way to the lakeshore. I think we'll hit 52 for the high today. We will see plenty of sunshine on the way as well, with a southwest wind at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. This is not a limited engagement of 50s. I have a bunch of them coming up in the 7-day, and I'll give you a look at that in just a couple of minutes. Anthony, Natalie?
Okay, thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it. There are concerns about a billboard that is up over an intersection in Bucktown that could be a hazard for drivers. We will explain why coming up.
We're following some breaking news this morning. Chicago police investigating a stabbing on a CTA Green Line train.
This happened last night at 10:45 on a train car. As we take a look at the scene from overnight, this is at the 47th Street Green Line stop at Calumet Avenue. The victim is 44 years old. He was hit in the face by a sharp object. He was taken to a hospital, listed in fair condition as police search for the suspect.
New video shows a robbery in broad daylight in the Fulton Market neighborhood. Police say it happened yesterday on the corner of Lake and Peoria. The video is shocking. This is near the Mondelez headquarters. Two men robbed a 49-year-old victim, with one of the suspects using a gun. The men then got away in a Range Rover.
All right, the Village of Dalton is suing Fifth Third Bank. This claiming that former Mayor Tiffany Henyard was able to steal $1.9 million in public funds because, according to the lawsuit, the bank, Fifth Third, cashed more than 250 checks to village vendors. They were signed by Henyard, but they were not signed by the village clerk, which is required by village ordinance.
The United States will send the world's largest aircraft carrier to the Middle East. The USS Gerald R. Ford's deployment comes after planned talks stalled between Iran and the U.S. earlier this week. The Ford joins the USS Abraham Lincoln warship and its missile destroyers that are already located in the region. And the move puts more American firepower behind U.S. efforts to coerce Iran into a deal over its nuclear program.
The Trump administration is facing backlash for rolling back a key Obama-era finding on greenhouse gases and climate change. This move allows the EPA to stop regulating pollution from cars, trucks, and power plants. Environmental groups are calling it the biggest attack against federal authorities to address climate change. The repeal is expected to face legal challenges.
A top lawyer for Goldman Sachs resigns after emails reveal a close relationship to Jeffrey Epstein through his 2019 arrest. Kathy Rumler is the company's chief legal officer. The emails released in the Justice Department's latest file drop show Rumler describing Epstein as a, quote, older brother and downplaying his sex crimes. Rumler, who also served as White House counsel to former President Obama, has criticized Epstein in more recent statements. Well, this is the big question this morning. This billboard in Bucktown, we've gotten a lot of feedback about it. Apparently, it's offering a free burrito, but there's a catch.
Yes, indeed. In order to take advantage of the offer, you got to pull out your phone, which is raising concerns about distracted driving. Here's a look at the billboard in question here. A social media post about it sparked hundreds of interactions online, and now it is catching the attention of local officials. This is up over the intersection of Damon and Elston, and it's in clear sight of drivers who are traveling southbound over the Damon Avenue Bridge right there by Vienna Beef. The alderman of that ward, 32nd Ward Alderman Scott Wagasback, says his office was made aware of the ad this week, and he tells us that there are restrictions for highway billboards, but this is up for debate.
Yeah, so if you're on the highway, there's restrictions in terms of the changing images. So they can't change the images so fast that a driver is distracted by 1, 2, 3 ads going up in quick succession. This is super busy. In the morning, basically people going to work downtown or to the suburbs. It's a highway entrance right nearby. Obviously, we're starting to get, contacted in a way that's like, hey, this could be a distraction. But the thing I would say to that is if it's not offensive, it's a free speech issue, then you as a driver have to be responsible for the way you drive. And pulling out your phone to take a QR code off this, on the screen is probably not responsible at all.
The ad takes you to the app for Guzman y Gomez. That's a restaurant chain with 8 locations in the Chicago area. Its Bucktown restaurant opened up in December. All right, so it's 7:17. It is Friday morning. It's going to be a gorgeous day. The sun's coming up. Nice and sunny out there today, Mike?
Yes, it is. I'm wondering if you're a passenger in the car, right? You could take a picture of that billboard.
Yeah.
If you're walking, you can take a picture of that billboard. If you're watching our show and the video for that QR code comes up, can you snap a picture of that, and would it work, I wonder?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm tempted to try, but...
Okay,
you know how much I like burritos.
Get ready to stop, right?
It does work. All right, so right there,
pause the
scan
video.
it, and get your free burrito safely, ladies and gentlemen.
Free ad for Guzman y Gomez.
Exactly.
But those burritos look good. I checked out that website.
Kudos to them for marketing.
It did work.
It did work.
It did work.
Anthony's already ordering his free burrito emails.
GYG app, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you guys changed the view for me. I had a neat looking shot here going off to the west where we could see the very long shadows of the buildings being cast here from the rising sun. One nice, we get the glint over here. Here's my favorite building, 77 West Wacker. But it's just a gorgeous morning out there. Temperatures a little deceptively chilly. If you go out without a coat, you're probably thinking, oh, it's going to be a nice warm day. And you step outside, you're like, whoa, hold on a minute. It's only 21 at Aurora, Woodstock 23, Morris, even there it's 24. Look at Valparaiso's number, 19 degrees. So it is a cold morning, but temperatures are on their way up. Area-wide, we're going to get 50s here. The exception will be kind of Michiana, where it'll be just a few degrees cooler, but I think we can get it up to 52 degrees today with uninterrupted sunshine. Now, let's look at the 7-day forecast. 6 days in a row of 50-plus. That is rare in Chicago in February. It will be a little cooler at the lakefront tomorrow for Valentine's Day. 55 on Sunday. President's Day, 60. 55 on Tuesday. A couple of showers Tuesday night into Wednesday, but on Wednesday we hit 62. And then there's another chance of showers with a cold front. On Thursday, it'll knock our temperatures back to 48 degrees. Back to the burrito man.
Yeah, I got to get that app going. Okay, here's the traffic situation here at 7:19 on your Friday morning. Things all in the yellow at this point. Your drive time inbound on the Kennedy from O'Hare is at 43 minutes. On the Eisenhower from Route 390 to downtown, 39 minutes. If you're coming in on the Stevenson, it's a 36-minute ride between I-355 and Lakeshore Drive. And on the Dan Ryan, it's a little better now. 95th to downtown, the drive time is 28 minutes.
A first for Chicago City Council. Some members are launching a budget accountability coalition. I'm going to speak with one of the aldermen about the goal.
Minute oil change.
Chicago's regional economy stands at $886 billion. That's larger than Taiwan. That's larger than Belgium. That's larger than Sweden. We have the most diversified major metropolitan economy in the nation, which means we are built to be resilient.
That is Mayor Johnson touting Chicago's economy at a meeting with business leaders. His comments coming on the heels of a fight with aldermen about the 2026 budget. A group of council members are launching a budget accountability coalition to monitor how the city's latest budget is implemented. And on that council is Alderman Gil Villegas. Thank you for coming in, Alderman.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. So why now? Why are we forming this coalition now to make sure that the latest budget that was was just passed by City Council is implemented appropriately?
Well, it's more formalizing it. We had came together during the 2026 budget. We were listening to what the credit ratings were saying around credit downgrade, and so whether it was not making the advanced pension payment, borrowing for fire, we thought we need to step up and really get a budget passed, because the way that it was trending, there would have been a budget shutdown had the mayor proposed his budget. And so we're not going to allow that to happen. And so we went ahead and passed the alternative budget. And then we didn't just recently just went ahead and formalized it, the Budget Accountability Coalition, to make sure that the mayor is actually implementing the 2026 budget that passed with 30 votes.
And how is this coalition going to work then?
Yeah, so what we've done is we've identified revenue streams that were part of the 2026 budget, and we've selected aldermen and women that will lead those efforts to make sure that the administration is actually carrying out those revenue ideas. We're concerned that we don't want the administration to slow walk some of the ideas that we've implemented.
I see.
I mean, the mayor has done some budget town halls, and it's just really rehashing and relitigating the 2026 budget. We thought we were talking about the 27 budget, which is going to have another deficit. So that's what we're focused on. We're focused on making sure the budget is implemented, then also taking a look at what 2027's budget is going to look like and putting forward ideas around that.
From what you've said, when I peel back the curtain, it seems like there might be some, I don't want to use the word infighting, but certainly not everybody's on the same page when it comes to the administration and council members. Why is that? Why is the mayor's office focused on something other than what you guys are focused on?
Yeah, that's something that's concerning. I mean, if we take a look at the budget had 98.6% of what the mayor proposed. We took a look at 1.4%, and the 1.4% of the budget that we looked at generated a $15 million surplus. So we had we had more time to look at this budget, we could have identified additional savings. That's why the 2027 budget we're really focused on, because we think we can find additional savings, and that's what we're going to do. Listen, anytime the city council and the mayor there's a little bit of friction there, that's good for the taxpayers. What we've seen is that rubber stamp city councils in the past have led to bad outcomes for the city. So this is a good thing when you have government really working. It's just happening in public. That's what it is.
So this coalition is broken down into certain working groups, and I'm going to be real honest, I think you drew the short straw with your working group. Your group is focused on the city debt strategy and the planned sale of debt. This was so concerning and really shocking. A recent report found Chicago is $40 billion in debt. You talk about money saving strategies moving forward. Is this something that should alarm Chicagoans?
Well, the $41 billion is it's a total look at all sister agencies. What we're focused on is the $8 billion that's owed to the city by vendors, by everyday Chicagoans, whether it's tickets, whether it's businesses that have fines. Listen, every year there's fines and fees associated with the budget, and the administration puts forward that number. Our job is to figure out how we can collect to make sure that there's no shortcomings in the budget. $8 billion of debt that's owed to the city. We have to figure a way to get that money so that way we can shore up our budget. It is going to be a heavy lift, but the reality is that to allow $8 billion to go uncollected, I think is irresponsible by the city. And the fact that it got to $8 billion is really concerning.
Okay, we're out of time, but I have got to touch on this $40 billion number, because that includes the pension debt that's still owed. Is there going to be a plan moving forward to tackle that as well?
Right, so that's something that we're working with Springfield. We have really been very fiscally prudent around making our pension payments. The one thing that people should know is that we're not going to short the pensioners that have contributed and did their part because of the mismanagement that occurred in the 90s and the early 2000s. We need to make sure that those hardworking men and women that are depending on a pension, that we make sure they're whole.
All right, Alderman Villegas, thank you so much again for your time this morning. Let's send it over to Mike.
All right, it's a chilly start to the day, but we have a warm finish and several days in a row of 50 plus. I've even got two 60-somethings for you. I'm not just talking about my age. We'll be back with the complete forecast and more of today's news right after this.
Black History Month.
Developing this morning, police investigating another act of violence on the CTA, this time on the Green Line.
And we will show you how neighbors on Chicago's southwest side are showing support for a local coffee shop that claims that it was targeted by ICE. Plus, a story caught on camera, a robbery in broad daylight. There's the video. It happened in the Fulton Market neighborhood. We'll get to more on that in just a moment. But first, the mayor of Aurora is calling for calm and caution at a student walkout to protest ICE, which is planned for today.
And this is after a walkout on Monday led to clashes between students and police. Roseanne Tellez is live in Aurora to talk a little bit more about what we can anticipate for today.
Well, I can tell you that there is definitely concern about today. 3 students were arrested on Monday in that clash, and many are questioning the police response, some even calling for the resignation of the police chief. Now, earlier we spoke with a mother and her son who says he was tackled by police for no reason at all on Monday. And this is the cell phone video they provided showing the physical confrontation Monday. 2 students on the ground during this student walkout involving roughly 1,500 students over more than 3 hours. Police say some protesters got out of hand and disregarded commands from officers, throwing bottles, driving recklessly. But this 15-year-old student says he did nothing before police tackled him to the ground.
And as soon as we got to that sidewalk, they decided to grab me out of all the people, and like that officer that grabbed me tried to grab this other kid that tried to run away, and like in that moment he was grabbing me by my sweater and he spun me around. Then some random officers tried to they came out of nowhere and just tackled me to the ground.
The controversy has everybody from the mayor to school superintendents and a state senator reacting to this issue. And the Kane County State's Attorney is now conducting an independent review, is what they're calling it. And that will include looking at police officer body-worn cameras and other investigation. Once again, another protest is planned for today, and everyone is hoping that this one goes more smoothly. In Aurora, Roseanne Tellez, Fox Chicago.
All right, thank you, Roseanne. I'm Brian Jackson with some of the other top stories we're following this morning, including a developing investigation after yet another violent incident on the CTA. This time, there was a stabbing on a Green Line train. It happened just before 11 p.m. last night at the 47th Street station in Bronzeville. The victim suffered injuries to his face but is expected to survive. Police are still searching for his attacker. Prosecutors have charged 2 Evanston-Skokie School District 65 employees with child sex crimes. Police arrested Carlos Menendez, Maribel Flores Hernandez last week over claims of them abusing 2 of their own family members. Menendez is the assistant principal at Washington Elementary, and Flores Hernandez is a paraprofessional at Joseph E. Hill Early Childhood Center. The allegations, though, do not involve any students in District 65. The Department of Homeland Security is just hours away from running out of money, and Congress seems to have run out of options. The final chance to fund the Department of Homeland Security before tonight's midnight deadline failed yesterday, blocked by Democrats who are holding out for changes in immigration enforcement. After midnight, the TSA says it will stop paying 63,000 workers. FEMA and the Coast Guard will also be cut off. Time now 7:35, checking back in with Mike. Beautiful look at Lakeshore Drive there, and looks like we got some sunny skies too, at least from this angle.
Indeed we do. Perfect flying weather for Sky Fox, Brian. We're heading up the lake, and what you do not see there, any ice right against the immediate shoreline. There's still some on the lake, and I know a lot of communities that have a beach, there's still some ice right up against the water, but we are in the process of melting the remaining ice, the remaining snow. Some of those plowed piles are going to be there a lot longer. And look, it's still cold out there. Don't go outside without the coat on this morning. It's only 27 at Midway, 22 degrees in Woodstock. Aurora at the airport, 21. And Valparaiso, here lately, you guys have been really cold compared compared with surrounding areas. 19 degrees. You're trying to challenge Sugar Grove for the cold spot in Chicagoland. All right, look at this extended temperature outlook. You know the next week is going to be warmer than normal. This is now a week from tomorrow through the following Friday, 2 weeks from today. Warmer than normal temperatures expected. There's no real winter to talk about here for the next couple of weeks. 52 today. We'll push those 50s all the way to the shoreline. Tonight down to about 30, a few upper 20s in the suburbs. Tomorrow will not be as warm at the lakefront. So if you're coming downtown, maybe going to a museum or something for Valentine's Day, a little pre-dinner something. 54 degrees inland, but it will only be in the 40s at the lakefront. Beautiful sunny skies Sunday and 55, 60 President's Day, 55 back to school day, and then a 62 despite a few early showers on Wednesday. Will knock temperatures back to somewhat more reasonable levels by mid-February standards on Thursday, 48 degrees with a few showers. Got a couple of lovely photos to share. How about this? From Johnny O'Hara, one of our frequent contributors, showing us some of that pancake ice. We were just talking about that, floating along the Ohio Street Beach area. He also sent in a cool black and white, but Johnny, I preferred this one. Always great stuff from you. And our second photo, this is from my friend Doug Sampanero. That is his truck. He parked it there. He's got a beautiful reflection there and a gorgeous sunset going on in Bourbonnais. That is a vehicle he calls Ma Belle. Pretty stuff there, Doug. Happy motoring to you. 7:38. Whether you're driving Ma Belle or any other vehicle, here are your travel times. Slowing down just a little bit. Not bad for a Friday. We'll be right back.
Got junk.
Welcome back. A Garfield Ridge coffee shop is seeing a wave of support after receiving backlash for its stance on immigration enforcement. It's called a Cup of Joe Coffee House, and it says it was harassed and threatened after posting a critical message of ICE via social media. Maria Orozco is an outreach coordinator with the Street Vendors Association of Chicago. She's here to talk about how the community is rallying around this business. Maria, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
All right, so tell us what happened here with the Cup of Joe Coffee House and how everyone's responded to this.
So it started off by them trying to support the community, trying to let their employees express their feelings, but some people did not like that. And they posted some things on Instagram, on Facebook pages, and they said that they were going to boycott and do a protest on Saturday.
And so how did the Street Vendors Association respond to that?
Well, it was the Cup of Joe that reached out to us, actually. So they saw that they were having a big movement, that people were actually going to show up in support of them. And they decided to reach out to us and offer us 50% of their sales to go directly to the street vendors to help us out.
Let's hear about what you guys do. This, I remember early in the Operation Midway Blitz, there was a female street vendor who was targeted, I believe, near a Home Depot location by ICE agents. Turned out she was here legally and all that. But tell us about what your organization has been doing since federal immigration enforcement started here in Chicago.
Since Midway Blitz started, a lot of our vendors were being detained. I want to say around 15 to 20 vendors were detained, a few deported because they couldn't stand the conditions of the centers that they were in. So we decided to figure out a way to help out the community. So what we did was reach out. We did some research and we saw that LA did a GoFundMe for street vendors. They were able to raise $300,000. So we brought the idea to the table and we're like, okay, let's give it a try, see if the community wants to help support us and if they care for us. And that's what we did. We started a GoFundMe and the community just ran with it. They were behind us and they still are.
So let's hear how it all played out. This works like a regular GoFundMe, right? But you kind of distribute it to the folks who need it, who work as street vendors, who work legally as street vendors, correct?
Correct. Yes. So it is a big process. We have a very small organization of 4 of us. And so basically the amount of money that we were receiving and the amount of applications that we were receiving also was it was a lot. So it took us a little while longer to review the applications because we had them apply and then we had to review the applications, make sure they were vendors because there were some people that we caught that were trying to just take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, during the Operation Midway Blitz, we would deliver the checks directly to the vendors. But when things came down a little bit, we gave them the option to pick it up or we would be able to deliver.
Makes sense. So it's a small team, but dedicated team doing this. What kinds of parameters are in place so that people don't kind of take advantage of your generosity and your giving spirit?
Yeah, so we just try our best to narrow out the people. We give them a call. It's so much that comes into this. So we had volunteers too. We had to train them, let them know how to ask questions and make sure that we were asking the correct questions as well to just narrow it down to street vendors. And our VP, he's well known with the community, with the street vendors, so he knew a lot of them.
What are some of these businesses saying that they need aside from money at this point?
From our street vendors, they just want to work. They just want to, they're not looking for handouts. Even giving them a check was something that they never expected. You hear all these stories and it just moves you in every way. There's no way that you don't want to help.
And if our viewers are seeing this morning, may want to help out the Street Vendors Association, how do they do that?
They can go on our website as well as our Instagram page. We started our Instagram page when this whole movement started, so you guys can reach us out there as well. And yeah, if they wanted, our GoFundMe is still up because we're just going to keep helping people as long as
kind of a rolling thing.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Maria, thank you very much for your time.
Much.
Thank you for being here in studio. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, it's 7:45. Here is a quick look at what is coming up on this Friday morning during our 8 and 9 o'clock hours here on Good Day Chicago. Hope your Friday morning is off to a great start. We'll be right back.
Was a robbery in broad daylight in the Fulton Market neighborhood. Police say it happened on the corner of Lake and Peoria. This was near the Mondelez headquarters. Two men robbed the 49-year-old victim with one of the suspects using a gun. The men then got away in a Range Rover. Anyone with information is asked to call police. Days after releasing surveillance video of a suspect in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the FBI now has a description to go with that video. Investigators say they're looking for a man between 5'9" and 5'10" with an average build. The new description comes after agents with a video forensic analysis unit were seen at Guthrie's home on Thursday. The FBI also released photos of a backpack, and this is similar to the one believed to be worn by the suspect.
Even if it's a pretty common backpack, they can go to the manufacturer, find out where it was sold, find out every store it was sold locally, then go to the stores and pull the data from everyone who bought that backpack as far back as they want to go.
Meanwhile, growing tension between local and federal investigators. Fox News has learned the Sheriff's Department is blocking the FBI from accessing key evidence in the case, including possible DNA. Back here at home, Aurora City officials are mulling over a proposal to build a new Amazon data center. On Thursday, they held an open house so people could review proposed changes to rules for building these types of centers. Right now, there's a 180-day moratorium on building them within city limits. That temporary pause is set to expire March 25th. And let's check those drive times as we bring you into the commercial break. And you'll notice they are building this morning, so give yourself some extra time. We'll be right back.
Only at Ashley.
Welcome back. Developing this morning, Chicago police are investigating another violent act on the CTA.
This time, a stabbing on a Green Line train. It happened before 11 p.m. at 47th Street Station in Bronzeville. Police say the victim was stabbed in the face. He is expected to survive. Police are still searching for his attacker.
Prosecutors have charged 2 Evanston Skokie School District 65 employees with child sex crimes. Police arrested Carlos Mendez and Maribel Flores Hernandez last week over claims of them abusing 2 relatives. The allegations do not involve any students at District 65.
The Department of Homeland Security just hours away from running out of money. A final vote to fund the Department of Homeland Security before tonight's deadline was shut down by Senate Democrats last night. Congress is off all of next week, so it's possible they could come back early if there is a deal.
A federal judge is temporarily blocking the Trump administration from cutting more than $600 million in public health care grants for Illinois and 3 other Democrat-led states. This judge says the cuts here were based on what he called, quote, arbitrary and unconstitutional reasons. The Sun-Times says the money on the chopping block included funds for HIV and lead poisoning prevention.
Hemp businesses rallying against a new ban in Chicago that starts April 1st. Thursday night, they held a town hall in an effort to convince Mayor Brandon Johnson to veto the measure. Under the city's new ban, businesses selling intoxicating hemp products could be forced to shut down or face thousands of dollars in fines. Owners say they welcome the new safety regulations, but they called an outright ban extreme.
Our entire business would shut down, and that would be very unfortunate. And then we have our employees we'd have to lay off. And then there's other realities where, in my case, I have leases that I'm still obligated for. And being a small business, I can't just walk away from the leases.
Time after time, a lot of minority owners, a lot of small business owners get left behind and not even willing, and we're not even allow them a fair shot.
Includes an exemption, though, for licensed bars and restaurants. 7:55 now on Good Day Chicago. We got plenty more for you ahead. Keep it right here.
all new Mondays on Fox.
Welcome back. New this morning, Congressman Chuy Garcia says he is bringing a Chicago woman shot by a Border Patrol officer to President Trump's State of the Union address. Last October, Agent Charles Exum steered his vehicle into Marimar Martinez's car and then shot her 5 times. Now, the government at the time had called her a domestic terrorist and charged her with ramming the agent, claiming that she